This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, no 9-game winning streak, 8-game losing streak snapped tonight by the Toronto Raptors in a very physical basketball game tonight. The Toronto Raptors were desperate tonight to get a win. They were probably more hungry than the Knicks to get a win. You know what I mean? Because they played aggressive basketball tonight against the Knicks. A lot of things could have, you would hope could have bounced the Knicks' way for them to try to pull this game out. They had a chance at the end to win. They were up 1 with 2 minutes left. And just, the foul calls weren't going their way tonight. They were going all Pascal Siakam's way. All night long, the foul calls went his way. No matter what. Even the last foul on Julius Randle, when Siakam was going to the basket. I mean, he had his hand there. He was moving his feet with him. I guess he was riding him, but come on, man. That's all the fouls were going Pascal Siakam's way tonight. No doubt about it. You know what I mean? No doubt about it. The Knicks shot well from the field. They couldn't get the stops when they needed to get the stops. And you had one guy in Pascal Siakam who just had a super career night. Tough game. You can't win them all. You wish that you can. Really hope that it felt like for a second that we were going to come back and win this basketball game after trailing all night long and really, the game just being, gritty. Felt like we were going to come back and get the win. A couple of mistakes down the end of the game, and we couldn't pull it out. Tony, man, what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it was good, Sim. Shout out to the chat. Yo, Black is time. I was ready to come in here and rip the Knicks and kill Tibbs and talk about all the things I didn't like and stuff I was mad about. But by halftime, and then by the end of the game, honestly, the way the Knicks fought, I'm like, how can you be mad? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they gave themselves a chance. It was hard fought, like you said. The refs was not in our favor today. And yeah, a couple other things go right. We win this game.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. A couple of big shots here and there, or not turnovers, or not, you know what I mean, missed calls, whatever it is. Couple things. We right back on that 9-game streak. Yeah. So let's start the new streak.
They played some lockdown defense, Toronto did. No doubt about it. They played physical. They used their length to give the Knicks trouble. I think that was one of the issues with starting a guy with starting Emmanuel quickly. You know what I mean? They were able to use their length to give us some trouble.
That's one less switch you could do.
What'd you say?
That's one less switch you could do.
Exactly. You know what I mean? They were, they were bumping all night long. I don't know how many times I'm looking and screaming like, yo, call the foul. I mean, they're reaching over top of our arms. I don't know how the refs allowed the Raptors to foul the way that they were fouling. To me, it looked like that. And obviously, I'm going to be a little bit tainted because I'm a Knicks fan, but it just seemed like they were really fouling on every single possession, almost every single possession, and it wasn't being called. But the Knicks were, getting called against Siakam all night long. You know what I mean? Little stuff too.
Sim, it felt like the Paul Pierce Celtics. You know what I mean? Like that era. How the
Yeah.
Celtics got every single call.
Yeah, man. It was, and Rich Jim is saying it, and you said it before we got on. The Raptors are a bad matchup for the Knicks. You know what I mean? Every year, every time we play the Raptors, we struggle against this team because of their length and the way that they play defense, and then the matchups are just like perfect against us. You know what I mean? I guess we match up well together. But for some reason they seem to pull out more wins against us than we do against them. Every time we play them. Nothing you can do but try to bounce on to the next one. You know what I mean? And I was all ready to say when it got down to the end of the game and the Knicks were up one, I felt like, we had good momentum going. I was like, okay, we might pull this one out. And I was all ready to say, this is the type of win that you need to continue your streak, right? Because, a tough battle goes all the way down to the end. You almost lose it. You're down by double digits. When you pull it out, when you leave out of the game, you say to yourself, man, that was a close one. What did we do wrong? How do we fix it? We can't afford to have those kind of scares, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, now they're just going to look and say, how do we get back on the winning track? You know what I mean? Big night from R.J. Barrett. He was hitting all night long for most of the night. He played very well tonight. R.J. Barrett had 30 points. He was 11 for 19 from the field. He was 4 for 6 from the three-point line. He was 4 for 6 from the free throw line. Could have been better from the free throw line, but it was a good scoring night for R.J. Barrett. Really good scoring night for R.J. Barrett. Julius Randle, he had 30 points. He shot 76% from the field. He didn't hit a three. He was over 3 from the three-point line, but I'll give him kudos tonight when he seen that he wasn't hitting from three. He didn't start jacking them, right? He went inside. He scored penetrating to the basket, mid-range jump shots and things like that. 30 points, 13 rebounds, and 4 assists.
Gotta hit them free throws.
Yeah, gotta hit those free throws. He had an off night, 4 for 9 from the free throw line tonight for Julius Randle. Mitchell Robinson wasn't the demon on the glass tonight that he has been throughout the winning streak. 10 points, only 3 rebounds for Mitchell Robinson. Jalen Brunson, not really a scoring threat tonight. 7 points, 12 assists for Jalen Brunson. But he wasn't scoring at all. 3 for 14 from the field. But Emmanuel Quickly, he had 20 points tonight. That being said, the Knicks got no scoring production from the bench. None whatsoever. You know what I mean? None whatsoever. And Ajay, yes, I think RJ did play well. I mean, I don't know if he was lost on D all night long. He had some slip-ups, you know what I'm saying? But I thought RJ played well tonight. Obviously, he played well on the offensive side of the ball. You know what I mean? 30 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, shot 57.9% from the field. And if you look at me and you say, well, his plus minus is a -10, I'm not a big person on a plus minus, but you also got to understand that he played with the bench when Toronto went on a run in the first half of the game.
And all the starters were minus.
All of them except for at some point, but to end the night, Randle and Robinson ended with Randle ended with a +7, Robinson with a +9, Emmanuel Quickly with a +2. Everybody else was in the minus. I'm not. I can't get mad at one person because we lost one basketball game. It feels like people are always waiting to do that. No, it's this guy's fault.
Someone?
Yeah, it's this guy's fault we lost it. That guy's fault we lost it. Everybody played a hand in making some mistakes out there to lose this game.
If I'm gonna play that game and place the blame, I'm honestly gonna say Tibbs.
I feel you.
And I feel like and that's really just starting IQ.
Right.
Whether it was Cam or Fournier, I think any other option wouldn't have had the same type of domino effect to where now the bench is faltering.
Right.
And as good as IQ is defensively, he's not guarding anybody other than Van Fleet effectively
Right.
on that roster.
Right.
So it's like he set him up to fail, even though he had a great offensive game.
And then, you had Jalen Brunson guarding Hernan Gomez, and Hernan Gomez didn't really do anything to hurt the Knicks tonight. But I think you take away from the overall length. Hernan Gomez was 4 points, 5 rebounds, right? But I think you take away from the overall length of what the Knicks had to be able to get hands in the passing lanes, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I'm saying? And to switch, like you said. You know what I mean? I think it took away from that. And then you don't have that punch coming off the bench. You know what I mean? Derrick Rose wasn't able to provide a punch. He came off the bench. He gave you 2 points, played 7 minutes. 7 minutes, some in the first half, some in the second half. 7 minutes and 53 seconds, actually. But he didn't provide a punch.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It was, I agree. If there's anyone that you were going to blame, if you're going to play the blame game, I would say Tom Thibodeau made a mistake in not starting Cam. I think that was a mistake. We were too small all the way around. Because even when you came off the bench, you came off the bench with Derrick Rose, and he's small.
Like, honestly, I feel like even with Grimes in, our height would have been, you know what I mean, a difficulty. I'm not saying we would have lost with Grimes. I'm just saying it would have been a challenge. So why would you go, you know what I mean? Why would you go smaller? But hey, they still fought. They were still there.
Yeah, they
you know
fought.
what I mean? I was ready to admit what I was going to say had we won, and we almost won. I thought we was gonna.
Check this out. Check this out, Tony. We talk about foul calls going somebody's way. Pascal Siakam was 16 for 18 from the free throw line for the Toronto Raptors. The only other person from Toronto to attempt a free throw was Fred VanVleet. He took 4 free throws. He was 4 for 4. Pascal Siakam, 16 for 18. Nobody else took a free throw for Toronto. Nobody else.
I mean, he's also he's playing the Randall role from 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, so he's doing everything for them. He's orchestrating the offense, deciding who, you know what I mean, who gets the shot. Our problem was our double teams was coming from in front, so he could see every double, and he was taller than everybody that was coming to help. So no matter what, he was literally just shooting over people. I think Tibbs made a great adjustment in the third quarter, going with Mitchell Robinson on him. I think it worked for like the first couple of minutes of that third quarter. He did have 2 consecutive plays, on Robinson right after that, but I think that was a nice adjustment early on in the third.
Yeah.
Other than that, nobody really could match up with him.
Nobody could match up with him. He was listen, he was doing his thing tonight. He was slippery. He was knocking down his free throws, obviously. Scoring from all over the place. Tough matchup. Super tough matchup. 52 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists for Pascal Siakam tonight. The Knicks also struggled with double teams. They were double teaming. They made it a point to take Jalen Brunson out of the game, right? And then Julius Randle catch the ball. They were physical and sent double teams at him anytime he touched the ball. You know what I mean? And then they vacillate between a zone and a man. Their defense, they just made it tough. They made it really, really tough. And to the Knicks' credit, throughout all of that, they still shot the ball 55%
50
from the
something.
field.
Yeah.
They shot the ball 55% from the field. They shot the ball 42% from three, but only 11 for 26 from the 3-point line. They were 11 for 18 from the free throw line tonight, though, and 16 turnovers.
Yeah. I think 11 in the first half too.
Yeah, 16 turnovers. Yeah, they had a lot of them in the first half. It's going to be tough to beat a team with this kind of defense if you're turning the basketball over. Obviously, this kind of defense causes you to turn it over. And we see it from Toronto against the Knicks every year. They get their hands on everything, a lot of deflections. You know what I mean? It's a loss. It's a loss. The Knicks took the L to see if they can get back on the horse, get back to riding the wind wave, man.
The Knicks failed just like me. Like, who they got next? I know that's
right.
I don't know who they got next, but I know they know who they got next. But
hey,
that's how they feel.
On Martin Luther King's Day, man, that's when they play the Raptors again. That's when they play them again. And we're gonna have some tickets on sale for that game. You know what I mean? So that link is gonna be coming. I meant to have it tonight, but I got caught up in the game. I didn't get it together. So, I guess I'll have to get it out there tomorrow. But it's a Martin Luther King Day game, 3 p.m. The Knicks will be trying to get some revenge on the Toronto Raptors at home at the Garden. Yeah, let me get you.
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
So because I was always under the impression, even if they trade in Cam, right, there's no rush to do it. But if you know you trade in a guy, it should be a rush to do it, right? Because how do you I don't want to nitpick, but how do you not play this man any minutes as tall as he is with what was going on tonight? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. He's on the outs with Tibbs. They're obviously not saying anything publicly, but I don't want to say they don't like each other, but they have an understanding that he's not going to play. It has to be. It has to be. Why else would you? It has to be. They're like, nah, we're working on a trade. We're trying to move you from New York. We're not going to take a chance of you getting hurt.
Of you getting hurt.
Okay. Basically.
But do you do that if you don't have something already in the on the pipeline? It's got to be in the pipeline if you're doing that, right?
You would hope, right?
Because at that point you're hurting your team,
right?
Not you know what I mean?
Right. You would hope it's in the pipeline. The only thing I can say is, if you know you're going to trade him, and you play him, and he plays well, now it's like you got to play him, right?
That doesn't hurt you.
It doesn't hurt you, but what if he gets hurt? Because he's got an injury problem.
That's true. That's
you know
true.
what I mean?
That's true.
And then you can't trade him. I think that's where they are with him. You know what I mean? I think it's a done deal. They're just not, not normally, but a lot of times players get sent home, don't come back to the team, go home, train, whatever it is. I just think they're not doing that. You know what I mean? So that it looks so, I think it's just that. They're not doing that to either Fournier or Cam. We're not going to send you home, you know what I mean, because you're not being a bad apple out of the bunch. You're not spoiling the team. You're not being a negative player. So there's no reason to send you home, but we just have an agreement together that,
all right, last question. I'm not trying to be controversial, but as the front office guy who made that move, right? I understand whatever happened at the time when you made the move and the conflict with why Tibbs didn't play him early on, blah, blah, blah. I get that 100%. But at this point, how do you think they rectified that? Do you think the front office look at the mistake they made, or look at it more like we got to respect, like maybe the mistake we made was not kind of reaching out to the coach enough, and we got to respect what he's doing.
You mean as far as Thibodeau?
Yeah, because it becomes a mark on the GM belt, right? It only becomes a mark on the coach's belt if I mean, I don't know if the guy produces elsewhere.
I mean, yeah,
and that hurts the GM too. But
right.
Like that's what I'm trying to say. How do they fix that part, or is that not a big deal? You know what I mean? Does the GM, does the front office move on? They have to come to some understanding. What do you think how you think that came about? The understanding of.
I mean, I think they had to have. So Leon Rose, always says, who plays, that's up to Tom Thibodeau. That's what he always says. Whoever plays, we bring in the players. I guess they have a conversation about the type of players they want, this, that, and the third. We bring them in, and then Tom Thibodeau plays who he plays. But they had to have some kind of conversation about, listen, I'm taking this guy out the rotation. He's not going to play. Find a play, he's not going to play. They had to. And I think all Leon Rose can do is respect it because.
And get on the phone and try to move him.
That's all they can do because, it's Tom Thibodeau's job and reputation as far as who guys playing on the court. You know what I mean? And if, he's playing this guy just because I know you traded Kevin Knox for him and a first round draft pick and this and that. You want me to throw him out there? I'm going to put him out there. But if it don't work, he's not going to be able to go in the public and say, well, Leon told me to play him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So he's got to he's got to play the guys that he thinks is going to win. And if it works, then everybody looks good if it works. It looks like, well, you know what? You brought in a collection of players. You brought in a collection of good players. The coach put the right people on the floor. And the players that didn't work, you moved on from them. You know what I'm saying? But you brought in some tools for him to work with, and you got rid of the ones that didn't work.
So you think the GM job is tougher than the coaching job? Because
no,
that's his reputation too.
I don't.
You know what I mean? Trading a guy and a pick, and then potentially trading a guy for 2 seconds or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whatever it ends up being.
Right.
Like,
no, I mean it's not. It's definitely, in my opinion, it's definitely not tougher than. I mean, they should be in constant communication anyway about what kind of players do you want on this basketball team? Who do you want? Name me some players that you want me to target. You know what I mean? I think it should be that type of a situation. Name me the guys that you. I can never see that it should be. It should never be, in my opinion, that the GM is like, oh, I'm going to go get these guys for you, and now you do what you got to do. It should always be the coach and the GM and front office working together. You know what I mean?
Should they share the responsibility?
Yeah, bring in certain guys or a certain type of guy. You know what I mean? Now, I think that there are going to be times when, maybe the GM is like, let's try this guy. And the coach is like, nah. And the GM is like, listen, the guy got some talent. We can get him. Let's see if maybe you can make it work. And the coach is like, all right, well, bring him in. But, I'm not going to promise you anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure there's situations like that.
Do you think they share the repercussions as well?
Do they share?
Like, do you think they're that close knit to where? Because it's starting to feel like that. I don't know. There was rumors about the hot seat, obviously, before it game went street.
Right.
But I don't know. I feel like the relationships, the friendships, the what do you call it? Being coworkers, all that. Sometimes you're not supposed to mix that stuff.
Right.
But maybe you come to understanding when you from the beginning, like, yo, we're gonna ride out this duration of these contracts together.
I mean, and that's one thing. I believe that I believe that right there. That's why everybody always, oh, we got to get rid of Tibbs, this and that. I believe they came into it all kind of together, knowing like, this is what we're going to try to do. We're going to give it this many years to try to build it. And if it don't work, then we'll part ways. But we're not going to go fire the coach and do this and do that and do that. You know what I mean? We're going to try to build it as a team. And if it don't work, then you can move on, which I actually think is the best way to do it, unless the coach does something egregious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like if you bring in your person, you try your best to get the players, the type of players that coach wants, figure out what it is that you need to do, you know what I mean, and see where it goes. Then at the end of the contract, talk about it and figure it out from there. But, you know, the constant moving on and moving on and moving on, you just break stability. You know what I'm saying? And then a coach comes in and they want different players. They don't believe in the players you got. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. You know, especially, I mean, depending on how this season goes, you might be able to look at the Knicks and say they're on an upswing, right? If they finish this season more, 5 games above 500 or more, you can look and say, okay, right? They were 41 and 31 in the COVID season. They missed last year, but now in a regular season with a regular number of games, they're back above 500 in the playoffs, so on and so forth. You can say, oh, this is a team on an upswing. And then you say, well, we'll continue to try to build here. So, we'll see.
All right. Who we got next?
We'll see. Chicago, which is gonna be tough because Chicago just lost 2 to the Knicks. You know, they're in a little bit of turmoil. They might be kind of desperate too. You know what I mean? 1975 Shamrock said, get it over here. Said it before, and I'll say it again, and it's not because of the loss. Tibbs is not the person to lead this team forward. Going forward, we will be mired in reaching the play-in or the low playoffs. I mean, it's convenient for you to say that now, but during the 8-game win streak, I didn't see you say anything about Tom Thibodeau wasn't the guy for the job. I mean, I know you've said it before.
I'll be honest. I won't say 100%, but about 50% of the Fire Tibbs fans was still saying that during the streak. I ain't even gonna lie.
I didn't see him say.
Maybe not when it hit 8, but when it was at 5 and 6, they was still.
I mean,
they was still chirping.
Yeah, but listen, people gonna say it. People don't like them. I'll just continue to say, what was the Knicks record like before him? What was the record like before him? You know what I mean? They were god awful. They were terrible. I mean,
what was the culture like before him?
What was the culture like before him?
What was the Knicks' identity under the last 5 coaches before Tibbs?
Exactly.
Just like give me one of them that had a identity.
Right. This is the most stable this team has been
since Woodson.
Yeah. And even then, the amount of players that were coming in and out. You know what I mean? Look at the amount of players that came in and left around Melo.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
This is the most stable this organization has been in a very, very long time. And Tom Thibodeau is a part of that. Like it or not, Tom Thibodeau to me is a big part of that. I'm not saying he's a perfect coach, but he's a big part of that. And I think you got to see it through at least to the end of the contract and then make a decision. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Then make a decision. Because, people gonna, go get another coach and then go get another coach. And when everything switches over, they're gonna say, we need somebody else. You know what I mean?
Before the contract's up.
Right. We'll be paying Tom Thibodeau and we'll be paying that guy. And then we'll be paying some other coach to come in. You know what I mean? Gotta see how it goes and see how it grows, Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please. Caller.
Hey, man, this is Jay from South Carolina.
Hey, what's going on, man? How you feeling?
Hey, man, I'm feeling all right, man. You know, they had a nice little run. I can't complain about it, too much. I was listening to y'all earlier, you and Tony. Hey, what's up, Tony? But I was
Peace,
listening
King.
to y'all earlier, and I think y'all hit it right on the head, man. Like, I think what y'all was saying from the beginning was, if Cam doesn't play, y'all pretty much said it was going to be an L. Just because of the matchups. And as I thought about it, I was like, yeah, watch the game. Seen Derrick Rose come in. You know, I seen everybody come in, and I'm not gonna get on the fire Tibbs bandwagon. I do agree that the culture and everything else is it's more solid since he's been here. I could say that, but I also have to compare it to what in the world did we have before that, honestly.
I mean,
but
we had
definitely
Fizdale and them
it.
dudes.
Right, but
Basically, he's saying we could only have gone up from
y'all.
where we was.
Right.
Right, he's a definitely upgrade from that. But when y'all kept talking about Cam, I said to myself, if I was the owner of this club or the GM or the president, in my mind with a game industry, all in New York City of buzz, the one thing I'm going to do is say, I don't care if we trade him, moving him, whatever we're going to do. If he go drop 30 tonight, that's just going to boost any move we want to make with him. So for me, I think you could see tonight, there's no way Siakam was going to drop those points with Cam out there. There's no way he would have did that to Cam. I'm just sorry. Maybe he would have got 30, but I don't see him dropping 51. That was just my personal thing from watching the game. I just feel because of the size, and he was just like you say, he shooting over everybody. It was like he was just playing like the Pee-wees. You know, nobody could really contest anything he was trying to do.
Right.
You know, like they made him look like Jordan late 90s, early 90s.
He was balling out there, man.
Like out of control. Like you just can't tell me he would have dropped a 50-piece on Cam.
I would have hoped not. I mean, Cam's length.
Not the way the rest of the defense plays, you know, collectively together
Right.
and all that. I just don't see it. I think that even if you could have shaved 10 points, that's 9 in a row.
I hear you. I mean, Cam's length definitely would have bothered Siakam a little bit more because you know they had to go and try to put Mitchell Robinson or Jericho Sims on him. You know what I mean? Which plays them, and they both did a decent job. They did the best that they could, but plays them a little bit out of position. I think Cam would have been up for the challenge, especially knowing that Cam is trying to, like I was saying to Tony earlier, Cam is trying to prove that he belongs in the rotation or prove to the rest of the league that he belongs to out there playing
in the league.
You know what I mean? So okay, I'm getting a chance to get on the floor. Oh, I'm gonna do what I need to do.
And I gotta defend.
And he always got the little Cam.
You know what I mean? Like,
so
one thing to know you gotta defend.
Again.
Yeah.
I just feel like I heard y'all say that on my way home from work today. Y'all kept talking about that because I think you put on another show and I caught it.
Yeah.
And I think it was you and Tony, and y'all kept going back and forth, and y'all was saying he's got to play him tonight. And I was saying, even if you want to move him, if you want to keep hope alive and go for 9, we need to play him.
Nah, I agree.
When the rubber meet the road, man, when y'all kept talking matchup, because I wasn't even thinking that way at first. And then when y'all started going into it, I was like, hold on. They right. Like, there's no way we don't play this guy. Like, there's no way we don't play him and think we're going to win. Like y'all was spot on with that, man. Like, maybe y'all need to go put your hat in the arena, and maybe y'all need to be like assistant coaches or head coaches and stuff down there, because y'all was dead on that. And the more I thought about it, the more I said, man, I'm going to call tonight if they – I said, win
or lose, I'm gonna call tonight. I
Yeah.
said, but if they win, it's gonna be because Cam played. And I kept saying to myself, and I didn't see Cam come in. Even when they was down 13, Cam didn't come in. And I was like, man, this dude is running through us like diarrhea. And they still ain't putting this guy in.
Yeah.
And that's my only knock on Tibbs. I think he's a good coach, but I don't put him in the group with the Pops and all of them where I would say great coach.
Yeah, I feel you on
But
that.
I think he's a good coach.
I feel you on that. Yeah.
But I think
I'm
he's
with
a
you.
good coach. I'm not here to dog him out. But I believe to some degree Tibbs' ego. Because I think Tibbs was thinking, I could play this kid and we may win. But then I'm gonna have all the who should have been playing Cam people joining
Yeah, he
in.
knows he got a fan base.
Right. Right.
Right. And you're exactly right, Tony. He knows that he would have had to answer to that. So opposed to doing that, let me try to figure out a way to win it without him.
And I think he's gonna have to.
And he was in a hard place. I don't knock him. I can't knock him for it. I'm
And
saying, like, I think for me, a New York fan, all these years of losing, I just want to win. I don't care about the politics.
yeah, I feel you. And I think he's gonna have to answer it. He's gonna have to answer it in the press conference, though. Somebody you would think is gonna ask him, why didn't you play Cam?
But I'm hoping that they have a destination for Cam because I think he could be very useful somewhere. I believe he could be useful here, but for one reason or other, him and Thibodeau don't click.
Yeah.
But heck, even did Thibodeau and Knox.
Yeah, and they got
So,
Knox out of
I
town.
don't know, like,
and they got Knox out of town. But hey,
right,
my
but
man,
it seems like either you down with him or like you roll a certain way.
it's either
Or
right.
I got another theory too. I got another
What's
theory
that?
too. That Tibbs likes to. I don't take this in any type of disrespectful way, but he likes to break players down to build them back up. You know what I mean? Like
he's a
you gotta.
misogynist, man. You might as well just call it.
That's what. But I mean, the thing is, I don't disagree with you on that, Tony. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think he is kind of that way. I think with the players, I think he's because players are always, we love Tibbs. He builds confidence in this and that. But I think he does kind of. That's why you start all the way down at the bottom.
At the bottom.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I'm gonna teach you my way. And then now when you play, I don't have to worry about if you're going to do it any other way. You're going to do it the way that I want you to play. You know what I mean? In some ways it's good. Some ways is, some ways is good, some ways is not, I guess. You know what I mean? But, hey, my man, I thank you for the call. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you for being patient.
Yeah, I appreciate your time, man. But y'all, I just wanted to really tell you, y'all was spot on.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
I didn't even have to watch it.
Appreciate that, my man. Have a good one.
All right, one love, man.
Peace. Because that's what, a lot of places, that's what a lot of places do, right? They tear you down and then build you back up in the image that they want you to build you up into. You know what I mean? Build your confidence back up, thinking with their mindset and playing their basketball game or however else you are, whatever else you're into, any kind of club or group or team or whatever it is, Some of your best coaches, though, figure out, okay, what do they do well? How do I use that, to my advantage? So I don't know. I think Tibbs and Cam just ain't on the same page. You know what I mean? They're just not on the same page. And I don't know if they're going to, well, I do know they're not going to get on the same page. You know what I mean? And I think it's all about, like we talked about before, it's all about not Cam's body language, but, he doesn't have the look of being active.
It looks effortless.
It looks effortless. And I think for Tom Thibodeau, that looks like he's not working or going hard or like he's lazy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think, we can all see it. I want it to be done with. If it's gonna go, I want it to be done with.
I don't want it to linger. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want it to linger
Bad
because
mojo.
I feel like the longer it's here, and the more we get into situations where he could have been used and he's not used, the murmur is going to get louder and louder and louder.
Unless we win, obviously.
Exactly. Right. Unless we win, you know what I mean? But, if we lose some more games and Quentin Grimes is going to might be out next game versus Chicago. When you got to deal with Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. You know what I'm saying? It gets louder and louder and louder. We don't want anything to disturb what the Knicks have built over the last 8 games. We want them to be able to step in against Chicago and get it back. It's not going to be easy because Chicago's going to be a little bit desperate too. They're going through some struggles. They're going to be trying to get it together. And the Knicks, you would think after this game, the Knicks feel like, all right, we got to get this one back. And they're not feeling comfortable with themselves or anything like that after this game. You would hope that.
And I hope they don't come in overconfident, knowing they just beat them.
Right.
Back to back, tough scenario to do anywhere, right? So don't come in like, oh yeah, we could. It's one thing if they didn't just beat them and they was confident in their next opponent. Don't come in overconfident because you just beat them. You know what I mean? I'd rather you come in there mad like y'all didn't play them yet.
Right. But that's good. That's going to be Chicago. Did they play it tonight? They beat Atlanta. Chicago beat Atlanta 110-108 tonight. Yep. So they're gonna come in feeling good about themselves. They just beat Atlanta on the road. Now they're gonna feel like, now let's go to the Garden and get one. And I'm gonna tell you what, you could see from the beginning of the game the lack of perimeter defense, in my opinion. Not that Quickly wasn't playing good. He's just not at the level of Grimes. You know what I mean? And it was evident. Now that we've seen what an in-shape Quentin Grimes does, playing significant minutes out there on the perimeter, playing defense, it was glaring to me like, oh, okay, you can definitely see it. All of a sudden, we got guys again hanging out in the paint a little bit more. You know what I mean? Having to go long distances to get out to the shooters. All of a sudden that thing popped up again. Although the Raptors only shot 26% from the 3-point line. You know what I mean? But it kind of popped up again. Now we got people hanging out in the paint. Shoot, the Raptors, on a couple of occasions, I seen guys hanging out in the paint while they're on defense, and they weren't in a zone at this time. They were in man. Guys just chilling in the paint. No defense at 3 seconds, just chilling in the paint. It's like, come on, man, that's not legal. You know what I mean? If they're in a zone, that's one thing. Even if they're in a zone.
Well, no, even in the zone, you got to get out.
You got to get out the paint, right? Even in a zone, you got to get out the paint. But there were a couple of occasions where they just had someone hanging in the paint, chilling. It's like, come on, man, y'all missing that.
Yeah. But more than Siakam's career night, I feel like Quickly away from the bench was the biggest, the biggest problem that we couldn't overcome. Rose didn't give us much. I think he turned the ball over his first 2 possessions. Yeah. Matter of fact,
is Rose done?
I don't. It's hard to say he's done because he's playing the smallest amount of minutes that he's ever played.
Yeah.
In his career,
because I kid you not, man, the last few times that he's gotten in the game before he, sat out for so many games, his first possession would be a turnover. His first possession would be penetrate, try to kick it back out, turnover. And I'm like, come on. what you doing? And not hitting his runner, not hitting the three. For me, feeling like the burst isn't necessarily there. I don't know. Just wondering if
Rand said he's not done.
said he's not done. Okay.
You gotta respect what Rand said.
I hope he's not. I hope he's not. I like Derrick Rose, but
Did
I
you
don't
peep?
know.
Did you peep his interaction with Randall at the end of I think it was the second quarter.
No.
I don't know. I was gonna text you when it happened, but I remembered I was on a time delay. I had it paused for a little bit, so I was behind. But it just looked. I thought I seen something that he was trying to tell Rose to do something for the play. Whether it was I think it was come up and get the ball, to be honest. But whatever it was, he wasn't very responsive.
Who, Rose wasn't?
Yeah. And it I don't know, it just felt like he wasn't into the play. You know what I mean? Whether now it could I don't know if it was personal, I hate speculating, but if it was like the tone of how Randall was saying what he was saying.
Right.
But because Randall does, he's like demonstrative sometimes.
I know how Randall says it. When he got the ball, he be like, come on.
Yeah.
But I've seen him do it with Rose before, and Rose come up and get it, and then they do, whatever it is that they do. I don't know.
And it was like, it was like consecutive 3 times.
Yeah.
Like he tried to get his attention. Then he's like, all right, you clearly see me now. And then the third time, Rose kind of just walked to the other end of the court, and Randall just ran a different play. I'm like,
I don't know, man. It's a new position for Rose to not play as many minutes. You know what I'm saying? And I guess, you get in a certain situation, you may never know how you're going to feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it might feel like, just go ahead and do what you're going to do. My minutes is almost up anyway. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I don't know.
But yeah, man, I don't think he's done. I just think it's a big adjustment for him. You know what I mean? Like to like you just said, to know, all right, I might be done after this play. I just turned it over twice. I know Tibbs. Like, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
So.
Yeah, he did. What did he have? 2 turnovers tonight, Derrick Rose? Yeah, 2 turnovers, yeah.
2 turnovers in 20 seconds.
Yeah. We'll see. Let me get to a phone call. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Sim, it's Spree.
What's up, Spree? How you feeling tonight?
Sad. I'm sad, man.
I think we all kind of sad, man. The winning streak is over.
I'm sad.
I'm
they
honestly
played hard. They played hard. I'm just sad.
I mean, that's the one thing you can't get mad about, right? There were some defensive lapses. There were, some turnovers and mistakes made, but they played hard throughout the entire game. It was a battle all the way down to the end. You know what I mean? All the way down to when Randall airballed the layup. You know what I mean? It was a battle all the way down to there. So they battled it out. They fought back several times down double digits. You know what I mean? It's not like they laid down and hung their shoulders and dropped their heads. They played like they felt like they should win the basketball game. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it was a back-to-back. I'm not trying to make excuses, but I don't like to have that losing streak snap without Grimes. Grimes, to me, I'm not saying he stops Siakam, but he can shut down Van Vliet. He can Van Vliet's getting open looks, killing us with that annoying step back. Grimes is all over him if he's playing, and come deal with that. But they fought. Grimes, to me, he's not the best player on our team, but he may be the most important player on our team because of what he brings. But we didn't have him. It is what it is. I thought Brunson, this was one of the first few games where I think they really got physical with him. They loaded up a little bit, and he passed the ball well, but he had a tough game. But I thought the offensive rebounds killed us when Mitch got kicked. and he didn't play at the end, Sim. I thought that hurt us.
Yeah, yeah.
The
Mitch
turnovers.
hurt us.
I
mean, not
I
that he
would have
hurt us,
liked to have seen Mitch finish.
Yeah, Mitch not finishing the game, that hurt us.
Yeah, I mean, and as good as Quickly played, and I believe me, I understand how well he played offensively, but he had one possession where I think it may have been right after RJ had that dunk where the building was electric and we got to stop, and I think Randall pushed and Quickly was trailing, and I think Quickly's only turnover on the night, he had one at a really crucial spot where we could have opened it up maybe and made it a 3 or 4 point game. Do you remember that?
And he traveled. I feel like that travel was part Randall's fault too. Because, Randall did the he passed it to him behind the back, but it didn't go right to Quickly. It was kind of soft. So it stopped a little bit in front of Quickly.
He had to catch it before it got stolen, pretty much.
Exactly. He had to reach out to try to catch it, and then he tried to go, he tried to go at the same time, and then that's when he traveled. If the pass would have been a little bit crisper to Quickly, I don't think there would have been a travel. You know what I mean? But the way that the pass kind of, if you look at it, you'll see the pass kind of stumbled out to Quickly rather than just got to him, and then now he had to try to go get it before someone could pick it off, and they call it travel. So I feel like that was part of Randall's fault.
All right. Look, you may be right. I'll take a look at the film and watch that. But regardless, that one hurt. So, I mean, the Randall layup thing, it happens, but that was annoying. I thought also the refs. I mean, to me, the one where Brunson, they called the foul. Was it on Siakam on the jump shot?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That one, come on. Let that one go. It's in our building. Come on, man. I mean, the way that game's playing, it was physical the whole night. You call that, and then you don't call the foul on RJ, who I know he throws up a lot of stuff and doesn't always finish, but I thought there was contact on the RJ drive.
So did I. I thought there was contact on that drive, and he should have been to the line.
I mean, I'm okay.
And you know what's
okay?
gonna
think we'll be okay?
I think we'll be okay. I think the Knicks played like they lost the game, obviously, and they needed Pascal Siakam to have 52 points in order to win this game, right? And in a tight game going down the stretch where the Knicks had a 1-point lead with 2 minutes left or something like that, right? They needed Siakam to score 52 points to win. Jalen Brunson didn't play well. Your best perimeter defender was out. You know what I mean? And I feel like the Knicks still played like they felt like they were the better team. And you know what I mean?
Yeah,
when they came out, the Knicks came out in the third quarter. It felt like when the Knicks play Milwaukee or somebody like that, right? And the Knicks are up 10, and then Milwaukee's like, all right, enough of this, let's go. And then they come out and go on a quick run, right? That's how I felt in the third quarter when the Knicks went on that run. You know what I mean? Now, the Knicks didn't have enough to get over the hump against this team, but I feel like they feel like they're a superior team. And I think they feel like they are a top 6 or even 5 team. Just from what I'm seeing about them on the court right now. Now, another 5 games could change that, but that's the way I see them right now.
I agree with you. I mean, like the third quarter, the start of the third to me was a sense of urgency, a sense of we can do this still, like an 11-point game. We have the firepower. I just didn't like – I mean, like it happens in the NBA. I mean, I'm spoiled. We won 8 games in a row. I'm going to take a walk and I'll be okay for Friday when we beat up on the Bulls. I'll be ready, Sim. But I did feel like that first half we let them get to, I said, what did we give up? 63?
61.
61? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like we in this streak, and partly it's because Grimes played. We didn't have him, but I felt like even with Siakam going off, some of the others too, I felt some of it was too loosey-goosey. I didn't feel like the ball pressure was enough. You know what I mean? I didn't feel like they felt us enough early in the game. You know?
Nah, I feel you. I agree. But I think part of that is due to Grimes not being there.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. I'm not going to panic. I mean, I love Quentin Grimes. I understand it. You want to keep him healthy throughout the year because he's so important. in the streak, we jump on teams, we make them feel us. The Raptors, I will say this, though, this is not terrible film to watch because I don't think the Knicks have seen – I give the Raptors credit. They have some good defenders on their team. They're annoying. I don't like some of their players, but I respect them. They have big players, and they play good defense. So I do think this will be good film for them, and we'll grow from it. We're still playing great basketball. I'm proud of the team. I'm proud of Randall. I'm proud of Mitch. We just gotta hang in there, Sim. It's a long season, but I would have loved to go into Christmas to win, but it didn't happen. But you're the man. You got the best show on the planet, and we're still going to accomplish all our goals.
Appreciate it, Spree.
All right,
Talk to you soon.
Hang in there.
I mean, listen, I think it's one loss. You know what I mean? We took this loss. We are, listen, we just had an 8-game. We've won 8 of the last 9 games, ladies and gentlemen. We're on an 8-game win streak. We can get back on another winning streak, or we can, win more basketball games. So I'm not in any kind of panic mode right now. I just want to see how they respond against Chicago. And I think that they will respond well. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please. Hold on for 1 minute, caller. I'm not sure I can hear you. I'll get that guy back on the line in just a second. For some reason, the sound ain't coming through. But Tony,
hey, I just want to tell Spree, if he's still listening, man, don't be sad. We went on an 8-game win streak, right? They gave us a little cushion, so you know what I mean. You could relax on this loss, and you know what I mean. We'll get back there. We'll start a new streak.
Yeah, the Knicks right now are what, 18-14 now on the season. Still in the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference because they were able to, garner some separation between themselves and whoever's behind them, the Hawks, or whoever is behind them now. The Hawks actually just lost to
Miami was
Chicago,
right behind them.
So Miami's right behind the Knicks, right? There's a little bit of separation there. They've been able to, get some space between their win-loss record, right? It's not like they're, 1 or 2 games above 500. They're still 4 games above 500, and they'll have a chance to win some more basketball games. So, let's see. Look, this happens in the NBA. You lose basketball games. Now let's see if they can come back and win 3 more. Right, and then take a loss, and then win 2 more, and then maybe take a loss, and then win 3 more, and then take a loss. You know what I mean? And grow upon that record.
Now we gotta hit that 10. We gotta hit that 10-game streak. It'd be nice. We was trying to get the RJ Barrett tonight, but we gotta get a 10.
You know what? I want the Knicks to get their 4 games above 500. I want to see them get up to 10 games above 500. You know what I mean? Then push it to 12 games above 500. In the last few years, we've been 10 games above 500 one time. You know what I mean? I want to see them get 10 games above 500. Yeah.
Yeah, we had to end the season to reach it, right?
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The Raptors only have 4 turnovers tonight. 4 turnovers. The Knicks couldn't get these guys to turn the ball over. 16 for the Knicks. Both teams 38 rebounds. The Knicks had 25 assists. The Raptors only 17 assists. Again, the Knicks shot 55% from the field, 42% from 3. Free throw shooting was terrible, only 61%. The Raptors 44% from the field, 26% from the 3-point line, 90% from the free throw line. Most of those free throws came from Pascal Siakam. The only other person to shoot free throws was Fred VanVleet. He shot 4 of them. The other
18.
The other 18 was shot by Pascal Siakam. So while the Knicks shot better, they turned the ball over more, which clearly gave Toronto more attempts at the rim, So it was one of those games for the Knicks. I'm pretty sure they're going to go back, look at the film, figure out I think they know. Listen, I don't know if other teams can play the zone as well as Toronto did tonight against the Knicks. You know what I mean? But I'm sure they've got to look at it and say, okay, what do we got to do to combat this zone? What have we done for most of the season when teams with zone against us? What do we got to do now? Because they didn't do a good job against the zone tonight. Zone gave them
I think
trouble.
part of that was, like you said, though, it's the length of Toronto.
That's part of it.
That makes a difference. You know what I mean? We're already not, and again, it's not like we shot bad. It was the little things that they were able to do that was killing us, and really just being insufficient, stopping Siakam and ones. You know what I mean? And ones after and ones after and ones, and he didn't have to work. It didn't look like he had to work too hard for him. You know what I mean? Like he had Cam Reddish finishes. Like it looked easy, but
Yeah.
he was guarded by shorter people.
I feel like the zone just made the Knicks have to stop and think a little bit more, and their length. You know what I mean? Just they couldn't play. The offense couldn't flow naturally, in my opinion, tonight. Next game. That's all we can do. Next game, I want to hear from Tom Thibodeau and see if he's asked about not playing Cam Reddish. You know what I mean? And you would think if I was a reporter, that would be one of my first questions. If not my first question, why didn't you play Cam Reddish? Right? And
wait. But Sim, do you? Because I was going to ask you this earlier. If you say that, does that become like a nuisance or aggravation for the coach? Or like, do you have to say something like, do you think Cam Reddish's length would have been helpful in some points of this game, or is that even worse than just saying right to the point? You know what I mean? Like, because some coaches will take it personal, like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you want to coach? You know what I mean? Like, or where'd you coach before?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I don't
and
know.
as a reporter, would you be mindful of that?
I think I would just ask him, or maybe I would say something like, would Cam Reddish's length have helped you, in guarding Pascal Siakam tonight, or something like that? The only problem is I feel like that avoids the question a little bit. Avoids the issue a little bit, right? Because people want to know, why didn't you play him? And then by saying,
okay,
by asking it, what
made you go to Derrick Rose instead of Cam Reddish? I don't know.
I don't know, but
I feel like he's gonna be like, if you watch the games,
right, you'll see that blah 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 blah, right.
And then practice, you got to do in practice what you do in the games before you do it in the game. You got to do it in practice. Like, all right,
well, let's hear this. Let's hear what Tom Thibodeau has to say about not playing, or if he's even asked about it. He's proud of the Knicks' hustle despite the loss. We know that.
Rebounded pretty well throughout the winning streak tonight. 16 turnovers, 16 offensive rebounds for Toronto. Was that something that they did, or was it something you guys weren't doing?
Probably a combination of both. They're very aggressive. They're high in steals. So the turnovers hurt us. The rebounding, I thought, even though it was even, I thought the offensive rebounding hurt us. I think we were up a point with 2 minutes to go. And, you give them a second and third crack. It's hard to overcome that. But I thought our guys fought pretty hard. Back-to-back for us. They're sitting here waiting. They played a great game, and we had our chances, and we fell short at the end.
What was it about Siakam that was so tough to deal with today?
he's a heck of a player, you know. So I want to take a look at the film, see the things. I thought we were too spread out in the first half. You know, a guy can make shots like that, but the free throws, I want to take a look at that to see where, you know, what we can do better there. 18 free throws is a lot of free throws.
Tried a couple of bigs on him too. You tried Mitch on him. You tried Jericho on him. What did you think of those looks? Yeah,
just, you know, we wanted to give him different looks, and you know, he got it going. And I think once a guy like that gets it going, they're hard to stop. I think, you know, the transition hurt us some, and then, like I said, there's inverted pick and rolls, so we had to deal with that. But it was more the delayed isolation, what came after the initial part. And sometimes it's just a matter of one step. And usually our shell is very tight. And I thought we came out to start the third, and it was good. That's sort of what got us going again. But I liked the way we responded. We didn't play a great game, but I thought we fought to put ourselves in position to have a chance at the end. And then we fell short.
How important is it, you know, after you have this long win streak and then you lose one, how important is it not to let the disappointment?
Yeah, and again, like, I think the important thing is to understand you take it game by game, and every game tells you something. And you go into a game, and you know, there's challenges. It's you know, we're on a back-to-back at home, which is unusual. Like, usually you don't have back-to-backs at home, and so you know, be ready to play, and you know, you win or you lose, and hopefully, you know, when you lose, you learn, and then get ready for the next one. And so I don't want us looking backwards. I want us looking forward, make our corrections, get ready for Chicago, and be ready to go.
Obviously, coming into the game, actually we have Derrick in your rotation. As it's going and Siakam's getting going, do you have any consideration at all for Cam, or are you just set with what you...
Yeah, we were trying to keep size on him, you know, so I thought, you know, I like Jericho. I like the size of Jericho, because the thing that's unique about Siakam is his length and his strength. And so we had Mitch on him at times, Julius at times, Jericho at times, RJ a little bit. But, you know, a guy like that, you have to guard with your team. So
I know you talk so much about Jericho's footwork defensively, but until recently, when you started playing with this two-big lineup, he was basically playing the five and used him to switch onto all different types of players. But now you see him starting against guys like Siakam or Force when he's next to Isaiah. Are you seeing anything during this stretch that might allow you to... No,
like in practice, you see it, and in the games, like his ability to, you know, guard, he can guard everybody. He can guard point guards, he can guard 1 through 5. And so he's strong, he has got great feet, great anticipation, challenges shots well, real live body, active, you know, rebounds the ball well. So, and I think he's growing offensively. I think he's getting better and better offensively.
How much do you miss Quentin's defense tonight?
You know, I think he's an important player because he's a strong two-way player. So, but, you know, someone's out, injured, the next guy get in there, get the job done.
What about him for Friday?
Pardon?
Do you expect him for Friday, considering how close he was?
Look, if he's healthy, yeah. But if he's not, then next guy be ready.
Down the stretch, a couple moments in the game, but especially down the stretch, I noticed you went with Isaiah over Mitch in lineups where you usually have Mitch in. Was there something about tonight? Or?
You know, I think he got kicked, you know, so he looked like he was laboring some, and then we went on a little bit of a run there, so that was it. But Mitch has been playing great basketball for us, great. So.
Is he okay?
I think so.
What did you think of Quickly?
I thought Quick gave us a really solid game, really solid. He's been playing well too. So I think the way he's shooting the ball, we knew that would come around for him. He's not hesitating. He's letting it go. I think took 9 threes, made 6. And that's probably, we only ended up taking 26 tonight, and that's probably where we missed Quentin the most. When he's in there, we're usually pretty high volume threes.
What's working so well for RJ right now?
Just attacking downhill, getting to the rim, I think starting to find a rhythm. But it's what we expect from him.
That's good. All right.
Thank you.
Ah, boy. I mean, clearly he avoided the whole Cam thing, right?
Yep. I'm not even gonna be that guy, Sim. I'm gonna just let it go.
Yeah.
We almost won. We had a chance.
He didn't even he really didn't even acknowledge anything about what he was trying to say about Cam, right?
And Sim, remember what happened last year, right? After he sat Kemba and brought it back.
Right.
You got like 30, right?
Yeah.
You got like 30 and like 28 and like 32. Yeah.
Okay, well, whatever. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Knicks lose tonight. They take on Chicago on Friday. I have my 5 takeaways tomorrow. I have a little bit more time tomorrow, but I don't have to go to practice until later on in the day, so that's good. I do my 5 takeaways. I'm gonna drop the link to the Knicks versus the Raptors on Martin Luther King's Day, so make sure you cop those tickets. And yeah, I think that's it. Anything you want to end with, Tony?
I'm probably gonna be stuck at work Friday, so I don't know if I'll see the game or not. But when we play after that next one is Christmas, right?
Christmas, yeah.
I'll be available for that one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we'll see what's going on. Shout out to the chat. Your Blackest Time. Sim.
Appreciate you, my brother. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm up out of here. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.